Thanks to the brainiacs in Hollywood, we've seen the world come to an end in many different ways. However, none of us live in Raccoon City, nor are we really expecting aliens to vaporize us anytime soon. But think about it for a moment. What could possibly bring about a real-world end to the planet we call home? Here's a look at some of the possibilities that come to mind from our End of the Third Rock from the Sun file. Be sure to subscribe and like this video to be entered in the giveaways. Be sure to comment, "I subscribed." Number 1. Climate change, baby. Call it what you want. For the non-politically correct, it's known as global warming. It's sort of as if the planet's been sitting on simmer for a few million years, and recently the temperature has been tweaked up a notch. Scientists say this process of climate change is going to produce extreme everything. Extreme weather, extreme drought, extreme disease, to name a few of their favorites. The fear is that too much of these things will throw Earth off balance to where the ecosystem will just collapse. Number 2. Impact from a flying rock. Asteroids are fascinating pieces of space rock, provided they stay suspended somewhere in space. However, those scientists who spend most of their time examining outside of the Earth's atmosphere say there is plenty of these massive space rocks flying around at any given time. In fact, back in 1908, 770 square miles of Siberian forest was converted into a crater thanks to a giant space rock that chose to kiss the planet. If it's happened once, it can happen again. Number 3. T-virus or some other nasty germ. The Earth as we know it can easily come to a screeching halt if a deadly germ of some kind found its way out of the lab and into the general population. The really scary part is that this has already happened a few times already. It's brought under control only after several people died. Decided to skip your annual flu shot this year? There's going to be a time when that will prove to be one of the biggest mistakes you've made in your life. Number 4. Time for a little FUN-GUS. Well, if the germs that float around outside the average sneeze cloud don't wipe out life as we know it, possibly the wonders of the plant world will take control. Mutations are taking place at an alarming rate, and scientists feel that bacterial threats are so real that there may be a time when antibiotics won't be able to scratch the surface of what a deadly plant virus can do. Quit talking to your houseplants today and save yourself. Number 5. Speaking of germs and disease. Here's a thought. In order to combat the diseases that are already living among us, science points to mutating a few into what is typically referred as engineered disease. That's your average nasty virus that has had an extreme makeover at the DNA level. Sure, they say this is to find new cures for the bad germs we already have out there, but what if engineered diseases were to spread their wings and fly? There's no backdoor to get into those viruses. Number 6. Someone actually pushes the button. With the fun and games of the current global political climate, the possibility of a nuclear war is becoming more real each and every day. You and I have no idea which of the current dictators in the world today are just that much more insane than the others to set off the strikes that would destroy all life as we know it. It's a real possibility. The nasty part about nuclear war is that should you survive, it's not going to be pretty and likely not for long. Number 7. C-3PO and R2-D2 in control. Robots. They've already taken over some regular tasks once carried out by humans thanks to automation. Plus, with those wacky scientists at the controls of most everything that happens these days, they are this much closer to AI applications. That's artificial intelligence to you and me. We're not talking about the nut bar down the street either. The fear is that at one point, machines will be thinking for themselves and expect a revolt when they get too smart. Number 8. When we reach about 10 billion or so. The Earth is presently home to 7 or 8 billion people. The delicate balance between life and death was knocked off kilter probably about the same time we started firing rockets into the air and popping holes in the ozone. With more and more mouths to feed and people living longer and longer, there's only so much space for all of us. Overpopulation could bring an end to the party we call life. That's why the smart kids wear condoms. Number 9. A mixed bag of events. Back to the scientists, who happen to paint a bleak picture of life on Earth regardless of it being sunny or not. There is a thought process that dictates that although any of these scenarios could spell the end of the world, the reality is much worse, as if it could get any worse. Scientists say that the real possibility comes from the snowball effect, where more and more of these possibilities all ends up happening in overlapping fashion. That's just freaking scary. All of this is great news just to make you want to stay in bed, doesn't it? It certainly gives you a few good reasons for jumping off the roof of a building or driving your car off a cliff in order to avoid having to experience any of these other possible ends of life on planet Earth. The truly sad thing is, if we don't stand up and start to pay attention to what is really going on around us, the scary stories the scientists have given us could become reality and not just the plot to another crappy drive-in movie. What other causes do you think will cause the world to come to an end? Let us know in the comments below, and remember to subscribe for more videos.